How long does it take for me to show you that the mercury went back?
What's up, guys?
No, I know that. I've known that.
No, but I show you.
George here.
But do you think it could reverse things?
Just chilling. I'm currently undergoing chelation therapy right now. So, surprisingly, I actually have high levels of heavy metal toxicity in my body. So, a lot of you guys know, have been following me, that I went to the Date with Destiny, Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny event back in December, and at the event, Tony Robbins, he shared that the number one advice that he would give for coming to the seminar was to go home and to get a heavy metals test. And I thought that was kind of weird, being all like a self-improvement seminar and stuff like that, recommending a heavy metals test. But he actually had high levels of heavy metals in his body and had his own health challenges with it. And so he said, you know what, if you don't do anything else from this seminar, from the Date with Destiny seminar, he said, go home, get a heavy metals test. Even if you think you're fine, just get tested, see where you're at. So I thought, all right, well, hey, this is Tony Robbins, recommending to get a heavy metals test, then I'm going to get a heavy metals test. So sure enough, I went home, got the heavy metals test, got the hair test, and actually came back that I had high levels, dangerous levels of heavy metals in my body, and of mercury, lead, arsenic, which was surprising. But the reason why is because I used to have fillings in my teeth when I was younger. I did get those removed, but fillings in your teeth, they basically leak heavy metals and toxins into your body that over time it's like poisoning you. So if you have, fillings in your teeth or anything like that, you definitely want to get them removed because it's slowly poisoning you. And you may not, you may have had them for years and you're like, I'm fine and this and that. But all of a sudden, when you're older, you can start developing Alzheimer's, and a lot of different diseases can come from having high levels of heavy metals in your body. They even, there's even studies now that say it links to autism and, all kinds of cancers and different autoimmune diseases and things like that. So fortunately, we live in a day and age where, there is technology and things that you can do to help remove the heavy metals if you have them in your body. So right now I'm currently undergoing chelation therapy, and basically how it works, you see the bag there up there at the top, that is a cocktail of all kinds of different ingredients and so forth, that what they do, they kind of act like a magnet and they bind to the heavy metals that are inside of your body. And so right now they're going into my body right now, and they're gonna help suck all the heavy metals out of my body. I may have to do this therapy a couple of different times. I'm not sure. I'll have to get retested again. But, I didn't have any symptoms for heavy metals or anything like that. It's just preventative because, I do have, through the test, I have dangerous levels of heavy metals. And so, like I said, fortunately, we live in a day and age where, you can take action to help heal yourself of this. And you may have different health challenges going on in your life right now, and you don't know why you have them. Maybe you're getting migraines or different things or whatever, and you just don't know what the heck is causing it. You've seen doctors and they don't know what's wrong with you. Go and get a heavy metals test. Find out where you're at. It's not that expensive. I got the hair test. There's different ways you can get the heavy metals test. You can get it through urine. You can get it a blood test, a hair test. From what I've researched, the hair test is the most accurate, and the reason why is because blood is just going to test for what you've been most recently exposed to, whereas hair will bring up and show the heavy metals that have been in your body for a while. And so anyways, you guys follow me, I'm all into health and wellness and things like that, and I got my fillings removed out of my teeth about 5 years ago, but yet I still have high levels of heavy metals in my body. I also used to eat a lot of fish. I used to eat a lot of tuna. That's kind of like, people who work out and things like that love tuna because it's high in protein and no carbs or anything like that. But unfortunately, our waterways and our earth is so polluted, so contaminated, that a lot of the fish in the ocean is just loaded with heavy metals, toxins and all kinds of, it's sad. Our own earth and our own environment is pretty toxic today. And so what I would recommend when it comes to, I'm not going to eat tuna anymore or anything like that. What I recommend is if you are going to eat fish, stick to the smaller fish and the fish that have shorter lives. So for example, tunas are very heavy and they can live up to like 75 years, and that's why they're more likely to get contaminated with a lot of heavy metals. But if you're eating like sardines, anchovies, smaller fish, even farm-raised fish, they say is actually healthier. Even though it's not as natural as like a fish out in the ocean, but farm-raised fish at least isn't going to be exposed to the heavy metals and things like that. So if you are going to eat fish, then I would recommend to, eat the smaller fish. And the reason why smaller fish than bigger fish is because bigger fish obviously eat smaller fish. And so the bigger fish will eat other fish that are maybe contaminated with heavy metals, and then then that fish is going to be exposed with it. Where the smaller fish, they live shorter lives, so they don't have enough time to get contaminated, and they don't eat other fish, so they don't get contaminated and so forth. And that's actually what Tony Robbins said. What he said, and what inspired me to get the heavy metals test, was that he said that that all of a sudden, he's always been a vegan, and but he does eat fish. He's a vegan. He's always eaten fish, but he said all of a sudden he would be doing seminars and things like that, and he would just blank out, and he wouldn't know where he was. He said no one else would notice, but he would notice, because he's done the speeches and things so many times. It was like muscle memory. He could pick up right where he was. But he said all of a sudden, right in the middle of an event or seminar, he would just like blank out and have no idea where he was, and he was getting nosebleeds and just weird things were going on with the brain, and he had no idea why. Because Tony Robbins is really healthy. He doesn't drink anything like that. And so he got tested for heavy metals, and sure enough, he had such a high amount of heavy metals that tested in his body that the government, I think it was like FDA or something like that, one of those 3-letter words, they actually went out and they investigated his home and his wife, because they thought that his wife was trying to poison him for insurance purposes, because he had such high levels of heavy metal of such heavy metal toxicity. And so he underwent treatment and everything, and was able to get it removed from his body. And now he's doing better. And that's why he said, you know what, guys, at Date with Destiny, he said, if I could recommend you guys just one thing to do, he said, go home, get a heavy metals test, find out where you're at, and if you have heavy metals test, then if you have heavy metals in your body, then you owe it to yourself, and you deserve it to yourself to undergo the treatment to to help get it out of your body. So that being said, I'm going to go on the treatment. I have to sit here for like 2 to 3 hours, just going through this, and I may have to be back again to do this again, but health is wealth. Health should always be your number one priority, because you can have all the money in the world, all the success, everything in the world, but if you don't have your health, then what does it really matter, right? So health, in my opinion, should always be number one, because you take good care of your health, you can be a better mother, a better father, better wife, better husband. You'll do better at your job, do everything. So you owe it to yourself to make health your number one priority. My number one recommendation for you guys is to go out, get your heavy metals test, find out where you're at, and then do what's necessary to to detox your body from it. Hope you guys have a great day, and wish me luck.